Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager Season 2, Episode 21, Deadlock. I don't know how I feel about this episode. I really liked it, and this is one of those episodes that I clearly remember as a kid watching and just being totally, in awe of everything that's happening. But watching it as an adult, it didn't really do it for me as much. As I was continuing through, I was like, oh, I remember that. That's really dumb. And I couldn't get into it as much as I did as a kid. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'll probably say it over and over again. Whereas Star Trek is very episodic with The Next Generation and Voyager specifically, where things start at one point and they end at another point, or they basically end at the same point. And the episode is basically just about that journey, whereas Deep Space Nine, on the other hand, was about growing and changing from episode to episode to episode. And this is one of those points where it doesn't work for Voyager, where the ship is just blown to hell and it is almost destroyed and it's barely functioning. But you know what? The very next episode, it's going to be pristine and it's going to be perfect and it's going to be right where it should be, because it ends right where it should be. Even though the episode's going to end with everything malfunctioning and holes in the hull and everything's just broken down, I guarantee you the next episode, it's going to be like, hey, look, we're just fine. We're on our journey home. And that irritates me to no end, that they didn't kind of keep that continuity where we were just in a war and we were blown to hell. But it's okay, because the next episode, we're just fine. So for this episode, basically, it's a lot of techno-babble where Voyager is trying to avoid some Vidians, and it goes through a nebula and it causes some sort of rift and all sorts of other stuff. And Voyager's basically doubled, but they're in the same spot, but they're sharing antimatter, even though it's almost two different dimensions. And so the episode starts out with one dimension where it's just being bombarded with these bursts. And Ensign Wildman finally has her baby, but it dies. And Harry Kim dies. And all sorts of other stuff's going on. And Kes is running through Deck 15 and she disappears. And B'Elanna's like, what happened? And then the episode basically... And the bridge becomes inoperable. All of Voyager is broken down at this point, except for engineering. And so we go to the second Voyager where everything's just fine. They went through the nebula and they started activating these bursts and everything is fine. But a random Kes just showed up. And so Kes is the bridge between the two when she's explaining what's happening. And overall, it just gets to be so much where you're just like, what's going on? And the Janeway on the broken vessel decides that she's going to self-destruct her ship because they can't figure out a way to merge the two or separate the two. And so, that's kind of the plan for now, is that the broken down Voyager is going to blow up to allow the okay Voyager to escape. But then the Vidians find them and start attacking the Voyager that they can see, which just happens to be the intact Voyager. And so that Janeway ends up self-destructing the ship, destroying that Voyager as well as the Vidian ship. But before it self-destructs, Harry Kim takes the Wildman baby through the portal, so now the broken down Voyager has their Harry and Naomi, the baby Wildman, back like they never died. And so, like I said, all sorts of stuff's going on in this episode. And like I said, as a kid, I thought this episode was super trippy and amazing. But as an adult, I was like, why? Why is there the doubling? Why did you kill off characters just to bring them? And then why, in the next episode, is this ship just going to be just fine? At this point, at the end of the episode, they can't go anywhere but engineering because their ship is so broken down. But yet somehow in the next episode, it's going to be just fine. The ending line is a little too cheesy for me, where Harry's like, it's just so weird because I'm not from this dimension, but everything's the exact same. And Janeway's like, we're Starfleet officers. Weird is part of the job. And it's like, oh, really? That's the best line you guys could come up with? And I mean, it's nothing about the actors. The acting's great and the directing's great, but just that line really kind of took it out for me. For those who have seen this one, what did you think about Naomi being born? What did you think about the whole doubling and Harry coming over? Go ahead, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you guys next time for Innocence.